fourth year in mortgages. Before I entered this field, I was a high school teacher and actually taught psychology at Romulus High School for 12 years. Long story short, I did not like teaching anymore. So I was home for a while with my daughter and was kind of floundering back and forth between jobs and kind of stumbled into mortgages. And here we are today. So this, I'm going to give you guys just a second here if you want to take your phone out. It's like just a few questions that are going to give you an idea of where you sit before we even begin. Most of you have probably, I'm guessing, seen or heard of this personality model. It's pretty widely used, I would say, but it's one of my favorites because it's just so simple and easy to understand. And if you can understand this information, you can take it back not to just your business, but also like your life, right? You have spouses, you have significant others, you have children, you have friends, and this just helps you understand those people just a little bit more and makes communication, which is literally what we do for a living, a little bit easier because you start to understand other people. So I taught psychology for 12 years. It was my favorite class to teach. I actually I'm a history major, psychology minor. I took psychology because I thought it was going to be this secret into young kids' lives and it was going to give me all the answers and I was going to make all these great connections and change the world. Turns out that was not true, but that's okay. Hold on, I just clicked something. So psychology really changed my life in the fact that I started to understand people a little bit better, and what makes them tick. And that's really the secret kind of behind what we do. Being in the real estate industry, in the mortgage industry, we are talking to people all day long. We are meeting people who we've never met. We are trying to make friends quickly. And that's really the secret, right? You're building trust with someone who you've never met before, and you need to do it fast so that they understand that they are being taken care of by someone who has their best interest at heart. How are we doing on the test?
I'm on 3.
Okay.
Questions. Is everyone else doing it? Or are you guys going to come back?
I'll give you a second. Yep. So it's just, don't try not to like overthink it either. You know, if you're stuck on 2, it might be like 51% one answer and 49% the other. Don't overthink it. Just try to answer them as truthfully as you can. But a couple questions to kind of contemplate as we go through here. How can knowing your personality type help you be more successful in the future? And how has your personality, your own personal personality, impacted your business in the past? I know that for me, I am what they call the S type personality. I'm a little more reserved. I don't necessarily like being in the spotlight. This is way out of my comfort zone being on here, but it's definitely taught me a lot about myself and what my strengths are, what I'm good at, and maybe more importantly, what my weaknesses are. And it's not necessarily a thing where you go, oh, well, I'm an S type, I just don't do that certain thing. It gives you awareness into who you are and what maybe you need to work on and what you can maybe focus on more with your clients.
Nikki, what number are you on?
I am on 6.
We're like so slow.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
We should have put this out there earlier.
Yeah, I should have. Sorry.
We're gonna have to have Darla like cut this out of the
Out of your recording.
Out of the recording, yeah. All right, let's see. My attitude towards it don't work. All right. So there's a couple of people who just joined.
Okay.
So what we were doing was doing the DISC personality test. I put the link in the bio or in the chat too. So if you want to click that, you can do it on there too. I've done this DISC personality test, but for whatever reason, I can never remember what my letters are. So I have to I got to really remember this.
That's me too. I'm like, I don't remember.
I've done this so many times and
I'm
I can
sure.
never remember. But if you want to, Robyn, if you want to continue and go through some of your slides while we're working on these questions, that'd be great.
Yeah, just the basic parts here. Wrote out a little agenda for you. Who is Robert Rohm? The importance of the positive personality profiles. There are 4 basic types. Like I said, most of you guys probably have seen this or taken the test before, and you know, are kind of familiar with what each one is and what they do. We're going to discover your own personality profile, which you're doing right now, answering these basic questions, and then seeing how that can be used to improve your communication style with your client and how you can apply it to your business. At the end, we'll try to leave a little bit of room for maybe some question and answer type things, if you guys have questions about it. Okay. Robert Rohm, actually saw this guy speak. It was thoroughly entertaining. If you know, are into that type of thing or ever have the opportunity. He has worked with thousands of people in the corporate setting. He's worked with professional athletes. He was a part of some Major League Baseball championship teams. He just is an expert in the field of human behavior and has used that to write this book. He's got 35 years of experience. His audiences range from parents looking for advice on their kids. I don't know about you guys. I have 2 young kids. I got 2 daughters who are entering, you know, my oldest is 11 going on 18, you know, wanting all of the things. And we are opposite personality types. So this book has really impacted my life in that way, and being able to talk to my daughter. Because would you agree that you can't necessarily speak to one client the same way that you would speak to another?
Right.
You
Yeah.
have to choose your words carefully and present things in a different way so that it makes sense to someone else. It's kind of like if you have ever spoken to someone who maybe speaks a different language, they speak Spanish or French or whatever, and people will elevate their tone of voice. They'll start to talk louder, thinking that it's going to make the person understand what they're saying. But it doesn't work like that. You've got to speak the language that they speak so that they know what you're saying. But you can use this, like I said, in your everyday life, with your marriage, with your spouse, with your significant other, at work, in a dating relationship, with kids, everything. It applies to everybody. Okay. Have you ever had a client that you just couldn't get through to?
Often.
They have their own way of thinking. They say things that don't make sense to you. They operate way slower than you would, or they operate way faster than you'd like. These are all personality traits that if we just work to become a little bit more aware of, then it can have an impact on our business in a very good way. We are in a business of trust, where we have to get our people to trust us. That's number one, right? So this is an easy to understand framework, and it allows us to break down each personality type in a way that makes sense, and that we can use it to communicate more effectively with our clients. You start to understand what motivates them, what their values are, how they communicate best, and what works best. You can also learn to tailor your communication style to fit their needs. It's about giving the client what they need, not necessarily what you think they need, if that makes sense. And this is a really neat way that you can differentiate yourself as well from other agents. Understanding people and what motivates them makes you look a little more professional, and it gives you sort of that one-up. Good quote by Robert Rohm says, "If I understand you and you understand me, doesn't it stand to reason that we will be in a position to have a better relationship?" It just makes sense. Okay. So everyone is a unique blend of all 4 of these parts. So basically you have all 4 of these within you. Usually you have 1 or 2 that are a little bit more prominent than the others. People are predictable though. There's an old saying that says how you do one thing is how you do all things. So usually your personality type kind of shines in everything that you do. The 4 basic types, they divide it into 2 parts of the circle. You've got outgoing and reserved. And then on the left and right, you've got task-oriented and people-oriented. Outgoing people are, they love group projects. They love to talk on the phone. They are decision makers. They love to be the center of attention. It just kind of is who they are. Reserved people are a little more steady and careful. They're shy, they're quiet. These are the people who deliver the sharp little one-liners because they've been sitting back thinking about it. Whereas, you know, the outgoing person maybe just kind of spouts out their mouth without thinking. These reserved people will stand on the wall at the party, and if they look like they're miserable and you go over to them and you say, "Are you okay? Oh yeah, I'm having a great time." You know, they just sit back and they observe a little bit more than other people. Then you've got the task-oriented versus people-oriented sides of the circle. The task-oriented people, they enjoy doing things. These are the people who love to make a list and check it off, right? That's like satisfying for them to check things off the list. Then the people-oriented side, they enjoy interacting and sharing, right? So take, for instance, if you have a kid, anybody got kids? Anybody else got kids? Right. If you have more than 1 kid, you can definitely sympathize with this. Say you have a child who is really outgoing, very people-oriented, center of attention, loves to spurt out answers, and then you are maybe a little more reserved and task-oriented. Your child asks you to sit down and do some homework with them. And on your mind, this meeting between the 2 of you is about the homework, right? You have a task to complete. Let's focus. What's the answer to number 2? If your outgoing and people-oriented child is sitting there doing homework with you, what's biggest on their mind, what's number 1 on their mind is time with mom or time with dad. Right? They are with you, they are talking to you, you are spending time together. Maybe we can eat some milk and cookies when we do our homework, you know, so it becomes a little bit more about interacting for them. So you can see how those 2 personalities could possibly clash with each other. The task-oriented person has an end goal, and the people-oriented person is maybe, you know, a little more lax on that side. They're not really concerned about the finish line, right? Relationships are our greatest sense of joy and also our greatest point of pain at certain parts in your life, right? No one on their deathbed though says, I wish that I spent more time in the office. So we have to learn to be good at these relationships and get good at talking to people and making them feel comfortable and trusting us. And that's how we become successful ultimately in this field. How are we doing on the test?
Good.
Good. Okay. All right. So here's our breakdown. The 4 basic personality types. You've got dominant, inspiring, supportive, and cautious. That's the DISC model. That's your D, I, S, and C. These are your 4 basic personality types. They're also known as temperaments. And like I said, each one speaks their own language. If you are speaking to someone who speaks a foreign language, you can't just shout louder and make them understand what you're saying. You've got to learn how to talk in a way that they understand. You can see going backwards, if we were to go back to the circles, you can see the top half is outgoing, the bottom half is reserved. The left side of our model is task-oriented, and the right side is people-oriented. Generally, you'll find that you are attracted to people who have the traits that you do not. Ds are attracted to S's because they are kind and supportive. S's are attracted to Ds because they are dominant and outgoing. And you kind of that whole saying of you complete me, or you're my other half, right? Literally your other half of the circle. Okay. So as a review, just to kind of break it down even further, your D-type personality, that dominant person who loves to be in control. We think of them as the exclamation point. They put their stamp on everything. They have very strong opinions, very goal-oriented. They are visionary. They are optimistic, independent. You cannot tell them what to do. My oldest daughter is a D-type personality. And every day I tell her that you better find a job where you are your own boss, because you're going to be a terrible employee someday. Like it does not work like that. The I-type personality, very inspiring, enthusiastic. This is like the life of the party person. The person, if you're having a party at your house, you want to invite them because you know that they're going to make the room fun. They're very friendly, inspiring. They attract other people. Join my team. Come with me. We think of them as the star, right? The S-type personality, supportive. I put the plus and minus because they're very indecisive. These are people who are people pleasers. They're very easy to walk all over. And one of the hardest things for them to say is the word no. They are likable, diplomatic, dependable, patient, agreeable. They hate conflict. You cannot yell at them or force them to go fast, or they retreat. Then the last one is the C-type personality. Remember, these are task-oriented people, very sensitive, very loyal, but they are calculated. They love charts and graphs. They love statistics. As a loan officer, if I have a C-type client, I cannot tell them that their closing costs are about $6,000. I have to say your closing costs are $6,298.32, right? You speak to them differently. Okay. Sorry, I got a little lag. My I's and S's, remember, these are my people-oriented. This is the people-oriented side. These are people you do not have to remind to be friendly or smile. These are people that you have to like remind to go to work, like set your alarm. You have things to do. The D and the C side, they can come off really cold. And mean, the RBF face, right? Because they're thinking about things and they're calculating and measuring and planning, right? Because they got things to do. You got to tell them to lighten up sometimes. Smile. It's okay to smile. Okay. So how are we doing on the test? Is everybody done or close to done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as I go through here, I always find it interesting to maybe at the end, we can kind of go through and share maybe some of your insights as to where you think you fit, where you maybe need improvement or things like that. I call them strengths and limitations. It's important to know your limitations and be aware of them, because you can then keep them in check, right? If I know I'm a D-type personality and I might come off strong to somebody, I can't say, oh, well, that's just who I am. It's part of my genes, right? If I know it, then I can kind of keep it in check, right? And smile a little bit more and talk to people a little more friendly and be a little more patient and kind. As a D-type person, they are driven, dynamic, demanding. They make up 10% of our population. They have needs like challenges, choices, and control. You cannot force them or tell them what to do because they will fight you. It is an automatic fight. You can see some of their strengths there listed on the left side. Very organized. They love activity and doing. Any sort of downtime, they are out. Like, what is the purpose? What is the point? Everything has to have a goal for them. They're very goal-oriented. Their limitations, like I said, they can come off at very cold and unsympathetic. Oh, too bad. Well, maybe you should have worked a little harder, and it just kind of comes out of their mouth without thinking, because that's what you need. That's how they like to be spoken to, or that's how they like to be treated. So they treat other people that way. And sometimes it comes off a little harsh. They may dominate the conversation. very unforgiving. If you make poor choices, like I said, they're like, well, oh, well, too bad for you. They do not like talk without action. So if you say you're going to do it, you better do it. Activities without a goal. Like I said, they need an end mark in mind because their whole point in life is to win. Okay. Being told what to do. You have to, these are the people you have to like go around the backside and make it feel like it was their idea. So getting crafty with the way you present things. They make good athletes, business owners, lawyers, real estate developers, just very much in control of everything.
Nikki, are you a D?
So I was what is it? DCS. I was mainly D though, yeah.
I was
Task oriented.
I was D and
Mhm.
I.
I would
Oh,
definitely call you an I type.
I-
The I type real estate agent has the best social media.
I mean, I'm reading these things and I'm like, yep, yep, yep. I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, sometimes I can be a little like harsh in certain
Yep.
situations. I don't mean to be, but yeah, I mean, this is me.
But see, to understand that, right? And if I am your friend or your client or your, work partner, and I know that you are a D-type personality, if you say something a little hard to me, I'll be like, okay, well, that's just her. She's working on it or she knows it. If she didn't mean it, to understand it is that's one less fight in your life, right?
Right.
Okay.
so when I took the whole disc before, I was an I.
Outgoing.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the kids in class who raise their hand and the teacher calls on them and they go, what was the question? Right. It's like an opportunity for them to talk that they don't really know what about, but everybody's looking at me and I get to raise my hand and talk. So I'm going to do it. I-type personality is inspiring, influencing, impressive. It's important, I feel like, to have a little bit of this as a realtor, right? You want to be a little flashy sometimes. They make up a good portion of our population, thank God, because they are the exciting ones. Their basic needs are recognition and approval. Because they are flashy, inspiring people, they constantly want you to say, good job. I really like your hair. Your makeup looks good today. That skirt is so cute, right? You compliment them constantly because it makes them feel good. Outgoing, charismatic. They, like I said, inspire others to join the party. They're very talkative, very funny people. Their limitations is that they, like I said, forget to get up and go to work, right? The tasks are not as important to them. They do not follow through. These are idea people. Oh, we should da 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 da. Whatever they did last is the thing they remember the most. The last house they saw is their favorite house because they've forgotten the rest of them. So maybe helping them find a way to stay on task and helping them remember where they've been or where they're headed is a good note to take on an I-type personality because they are just disorganized, not because they want to be, because it's just who they are. They forget, they will get distracted and they get off task. They don't like being ignored. Like I said, you want to compliment them all the time, tell them good job. They hate being ridiculed and they do not like repetitive tasks because they are boring. I-types make good coaches, right? Inspiring other people to perform is their biggest skill, their best skill. They make good salespeople because they are inspiring actors, teachers. They just make things fun. Third, we have the S-type. This is what I score the highest in. Stable, supportive, and sweet. Just a little more laid back. Their basic needs are appreciation and security. You cannot push this person to go fast on anything. They have to think about it. They have to talk about it. They have to see it. They have to touch it. They have to feel it. So this is your client who has seen 30 houses and can't decide. Undecisive, not sure, needs someone to give them a little bit of direction. They are very likable, though. They are very friendly. They will buy you the present at the closing table because they just love people, and they want their biggest concern is, do you like me? Okay. They avoid conflicts. Do not argue with them. Do not yell at them. Do not surprise them, because they will retreat. Sort of think of like a turtle, right? Any sort of pressure or anything that scares them, they're going to pull back from you. They make good nurses, teachers, real estate agents, artists, because y'all are just so kind and loving, right? Taking care of other people and making sure they're in a good place. Their limitations, they can be stubborn and stingy, indecisive, fearful, lack of self-motivation. They never think that they are good enough. Like I said, constantly afraid that someone doesn't like them, or that they made someone upset or unhappy. Robert Rohm tells a story. He has 2 daughters. One is a D type and one is an S type. And he tells the story of his oldest daughter, who is a high D, and said that she got in trouble. She's a DI. She got in trouble, so he grounded her, put her in a room, and said, "You have lost your phone for 3 days." She's all mad and upset and tells him, "Well, you know what, Dad? I don't need your phone. And in fact, when I get older, I am going to buy my own phone." Right. And just kind of like sassing back, and I don't need you, and I'm independent, and no big deal on the phone. The S type, if they think that they have hurt your feelings, it's over for them, right? It's soft and sensitive. I'll pat your hand. "Oh, are you okay? I'm so sorry. Did I hurt you?" The D type are like, "Yeah, well, too bad." They make you feel like it was your fault, right?
Guilty.
Yeah, right. They go, "Sorry." That's how they apologize.
Got it.
Yeah, sorry. So you
Been
feel like
standing there.
did I do something? So they flip it around. Okay. So that's our nice, supportive, kind, sweet S types. The C type, I need a little more of this in my life. I feel like we all do. Competent, cautious, correct. They make up just about 1/4 of the population. Their basic needs are quality answers and value. They love charts and graphs and stats and numbers and details. They are going to be some of your most loyal friends, because they have thought about it for a very long time. If they stick around, it's because they made that choice to stay with you. They are schedule oriented. They have very high standards. They have 3 colors of highlighters in their purse or bag. Like everything is color coordinated. They're just put together people. Their limitations, they can get really frustrated and moody because other people are not like them. Right? Well, why can't they do that? They're so disorganized. What is the point of this? Whatever it is that you're doing, everything has to have a schedule. If you don't have an agenda for them, when I was a high school teacher, if the agenda was not written on the board, I had kids raise their hand and be like, "Well, what are we doing today? When is this? When's that?" They want to know the schedule, what time. Everything's just got to be laid out for them. Very detail oriented. They do not like mistakes. So if you do make mistakes with your C-type client, be quick to acknowledge it, be quick to fix it. They are ambitious without a plan, or they do not like ambition without a plan. And they do not like mediocrity, right? Very high standards. Everything is top notch because they have measured twice, so they only have to cut once. They make good accountants, engineers, pilots, physicians, people who are very detail oriented, are C types. Okay. So getting into communicating with these people as a real estate agent, your job is to talk to people, and sometimes it's to people you have never met. So figuring out how to respectfully speak to them based on their personality type can either gain or lose you a client sometimes, can gain or lose a referral. It can be the make or break in your business. So if you are communicating as a D-type personality, so I'm speaking to you guys who scored highest in the D category, If you're speaking to someone else who is a D-type personality, there must be mutual respect. Think of like two bulls going at each other. This one thinks they're right. This one thinks they're right. Somebody's got to be able to give a little bit in order to make the deal work. They seek to understand. You've got to seek to understand each other's boundaries and authority and allow them to have some ideas too. I-type personality, you must speak to them directly, have good communication, deal with issues in a straightforward manner. Biggest thing with an I-type is you have to like raise the level just a little bit. For me, I'm an S, like super reserved, you know, kind of chill. If I'm speaking to someone who is an I-type personality, you've got to raise your voice, you've got to get excited, you've got to change the way you communicate. S-types, you want to avoid pushing them and forcing them into making decisions. You have to recognize when they do good work, be friendly, easygoing, steady paced, which can sometimes be really hard for a D-type because, like I said, these are opposite personality types, the D and the S. So recognize the moment where maybe your S-type is pulling away or getting a little shy or not answering your phone call as maybe, hey, maybe I need to chill out a little. And then the C, when you're a D-type speaking to a C, you got to slow down and include all the details. Like I said, they love it when you give them, as a loan officer, give them a detailed loan estimate with everything listed out. Here are all the charges. Here's what your estimated payment's going to be. Everything is listed, right? They will ask questions. So don't take that as opposition. Sometimes D-types, not sometimes, all the time, D-types think they're right. They always think they're right. What I said was correct. Why would I give you incorrect information? I know what I'm doing, right? But a C-type personality is going to think through every piece and they're going to have questions. So be patient and answer their questions. Speaking as an I-type, these are the very excited, very emotional star of the show people. If you're speaking to someone who is a D, you must deal with issues in a very straightforward manner. The I-types can get distracted and be kind of all over the place. So don't talk too long, only details, because the D-type has things to do. They're not phone talkers. D-types are not phone talkers, right? And I-types could talk all day. If you're speaking to someone else who is an I-type, be friendly and complimentary, acknowledge their accomplishments, and listen sincerely without talking. Biggest thing with an I personality is you have to give them time to talk. When you call them on the phone, hey, how was the party? How are the kids? What's going on? What'd you do this weekend? Give them a moment to talk about themselves. S-types. As an I-type, you got to slow down because we know that S-types are very caught. They're gonna be a little more reserved. So you got to really slow down for them, show appreciation and sincerity because their biggest goal, remember, is that they want to be your friend. They want you to like them. So make sure that they know that you are their buddy. Don't be pushy. And then speaking to a C-type, again, just present facts, be clear, and give them time to evaluate. I-types want to just go, 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 right? We're always on to the next idea, but a C-type needs a moment to think about it. S-type, speaking as a S-type to a D-type, you got to be a little more assertive, got to kind of speak with authority to them. They may view you as weak because you are kind and friendly. So try not to let them, walk on you necessarily, but just be a little more forceful, straightforward, increase your pace, go a little quicker. I-types, you got to be friendly and complimentary, listen to them, again, give them time to talk. They are, I called it experimental in nature. So they will have ideas, they want to try things or maybe go see a house that is not going to work. Give them the opportunity to check it out. S-types, move at a steady pace with them, express your appreciation. Again, just establish a friendship and they will love you forever. And then as a C-type, S-type talking to a C-type, focus on the facts, be prepared for questions. And it doesn't mean that they don't like you, right? If they start asking questions, they just want to know the details. So you've got to give them time to plan ahead. Last one is your C type, communicating as a C type. Communicate directly with your D types, deal with the issue straightforward, define your roles, because remember, you guys are very similar, task oriented. There can be some fights or butting heads. I types, you want to be friendly and complimentary, smile, right? C types have a hard time smiling because they're constantly thinking. Avoid the tendency to challenge them, because remember, they're gonna pull back, right? They're be excited about whatever it is that you're doing. S types, you want to be relaxed and amiable. Don't confront them. Show appreciation and just be patient. And then speaking to someone C to C, go for it with all the details. You guys will love each other. You can color coordinate and have graphs and charts, you know, do all your Excel spreadsheet things that you guys do. Be open to accepting their ideas, and remember, as a C type, they are never wrong. The joke is that how each personality apologizes in a different way, right? We talked about the Ds, they go, sorry. Well, was it my fault? Did I do something? I types will be like, sorry, right? Like, no big deal. S types are going to be very sensitive. So I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Is there anything I can do to make it better? And then a C type, here's how a C type apologizes. They don't, because they've calculated it out and they know that they're right, right? So just remember that. Okay, moving forward. Here we go. So applying this to your business, how can you use this information to make things maybe just a little bit more smoother in your transactions? You have a D-type client. Things to do, be brief. We talked about a lot of these. Be brief, ask what, not how questions, because they are on the go, right? They have a list of tasks to complete. What is next? What is next? Yep, did that. Yep, did that. Yep, did that. Focus on results and highlight logical benefits. They are extremely logical people. It either makes sense or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, we're on to the next thing. Like that thing is off the table. Do not ramble or repeat because they are busy. Focus on the problems. Do not talk too much. Only come at them with what they need to know. And do not be general. In your home buying approach, you're going to focus on efficacy and practicality. Okay, when they look at their home, they're going to want a home that is well suited for their lifestyle and for their goals. Does it have the right amount of bedrooms? Can I work out in the basement? You know, does it have a certain amount of square footage? They have a list, and if the house checks off the list, then it's probably a good house. Prioritize finding a home that meets their needs quickly, and they are going to be less concerned with what it looks like, because remember, they're doers. If it needs new paint, if it needs a new door, if it needs this or that, they can fix it. No big deal. You should be super direct with them, short questions, let them take the lead. They're the ones who are going to find houses for you, okay, and want to do your job. So just be patient, right? And kind of give them a defined goal and a defined role. Hold on, it's a pop up here. They can sometimes come off as intimidating people, just in the way that they speak, because they are so direct. So you want to try to mirror their energy. It might be scary, especially if you're an S-type person, because you feel like you're being mean, but you're not. That's how they want you to talk to them. They're not afraid of work as long as it has a purpose. They can be a little hot-headed sometimes. So don't be scared off by that, because it's just kind of how they operate. They love choices and not commands. That's a big one for the D type. Okay, moving on. You have an I type client. If your client is that high I, big personality, big talker, very happy, very inspiring, here's what you do. You build a favorable environment for them. Somewhere, make it so that they like to come and see you. You are fun and exciting and happy to see them. Let them talk about their ideas. Let them talk about what they want to do to the house. They will want to talk. So you want to eliminate, to keep them focused, right? Do not eliminate social time, because they will want to talk to you, but keep them on task. Don't ignore their ideas. Don't tell them what to do, because they've got a ton of ideas. Their home buying approach, you want to focus on finding a home that inspires them and reflects their personal style. These are more feel people. They want to see the house. They want to walk through each room. They're drawn to homes that are unique. They are going to prioritize, like I said, the feel of the house. If it feels welcoming and inviting, remember, whereas like a D type is measuring things and looking at numbers of rooms and specific points in the house. If you want a listing from an I type personality, you have to go to them, go to their house, compliment their couch, tell them what a good job they've done on their renovations, ask them questions about their life, show me your photo albums, tell me all about your wedding. Like, it's going to take a minute. Let them talk about themselves and be there face to face with them, because they're very people oriented, and they want to get to know you as a person. Let's see. They're going to speak out of turn sometimes, just like a D type. Sometimes they speak without thinking, because they're moving so quickly. So don't take it offensively if they do. They're easily wowed. And like I said, the last house they saw is their favorite house, because they've forgotten the rest of them. So find a way to keep them organized. They like group activities. And these are people that are going to be really susceptible to the tone of your voice, more so than the words that are coming out of your mouth. Okay, that's really important to remember. Speak to them in an excited, happy way, and they'll love you. All right, S-type, my people. S-type people, remember, are soft and sensitive. You cannot push them. So you're going to want to show them genuine interest, be their friend, give them time, follow up with them, give them a call. Hey, what did you think? How are you doing? Do not be pushy or aggressive. Do not make demands on them. Do not be abrupt or controversial, or they're going to pull away. These people are going to focus on finding a home that meets the needs of their family and their loved ones. Is there a place for a party in the back? Is the dining room area big enough that I can fit, all three of my kids, and, whatever it is, they're thinking of other people. That's their number one. Prioritize finding a home that feels safe and secure, provide space for their family to grow and to thrive. They're going to need to think about it, okay, to feel sure about any sort of purchase. So I know it's hard and easy for me to say, but try not to be pushy. I know it's hard in this market. You're like, I need to know tonight whether you want to put an offer in, but just define that. I would say define that up front. And set expectations so that they know what's coming, so that they can plan for it down the road. These S-type people, you're going to want to show them the math on how to get the most out of their house. That's where I come in, right? They need to see the steps and understand the steps. So everything is touchy-feely with them, right? Be warm and fuzzy. D-type personalities are going to really struggle with an S-type, because you want answers and decisions. You want them to decide, and they need time. So just keep that in mind when you work with these S-type clients. Again, these are also people who are going to be susceptible to the tone of your voice, more so than what it is that you're telling them. All right, C-types, our last one. C-type personalities, remember, are calculating folks. These are the ones who like to see the numbers. Everything has to make sense to them, and you have to give them time to do the math so that it makes sense to them. Be prepared in advance, right? Use accurate data, use accurate information, because they're going to check you on it. They're going to look it up. Do not refuse to explain details to them or answer questions in a vague way, because you lose credibility with a C-type personality. You are not the expert if you don't give them accurate information. Focus on gathering your information and making informed decisions. Prioritize finding a home that meets their needs, and make time for research and comparing different options. When I work with a C-type personality in the mortgage side, I will generally give them a couple of options. We can go this route or we can go this route. Here's the math on this one. Here's the math on this one. Let me know what you think. And they take that and they brew on it, and then we come back and talk about it. So be prepared when you talk to them, because they love a good spreadsheet, right? They're going to have lots of questions. They're going to think through every angle of everything. So you can be prepared for that, be one step ahead by thinking the way that they do. They can sometimes be called or be considered like the party pooper, right? These are the people who, at a baseball game, they have a really hard time getting up to do the wave, right? That's just not who they are. So whatever they say though, it usually has great insight to it because they've been thinking about it for a day. Okay. And it's usually pretty accurate, whatever they've got to contribute. These are your warriors. So keep that in mind when you work with these C-type clients. You're going to show them lots of data, lots of charts, lots of graphs, and this is how you're going to build their trust. And that is it. Personalities in a nutshell. So you can see kind of how each one interacts with the other, how opposites might attract to each other. If you think about maybe your spouse or significant other, they usually have some traits that are a little stronger in the side that you lack, because you think, well, a D-type thinks, well, I have this, really outgoing, strong personality. I really love this person who is sensitive and kind and sweet. They're going to take care of me, right? And the S-type is looking at the D-type thinking, oh, you can make all the decisions. I'll follow you, no problem. So as a client, though, I feel like this is invaluable information for you to use to your advantage and can actually help you win more deals if you master it. So this is my information. Like I said, I've been 4 years in the business. I've got 3 states under my belt, Michigan, Florida, and Ohio. So if you guys ever need any help or have any questions on anything, this is where you can contact me. And it has been a pleasure. Thank you, Nicole, for inviting me.
Thanks.
Hope it was useful.
It was good info for sure.
Does anybody have any questions on anything?
I want to know what you are, Robyn. What did you say you were?
I am a high S. I would say I'm like contradictory because my biggest trait is S type. I will have 17 things to do today, but if you called me and said, I need your help, I'm moving, I will drop all of those things and go help you do what you need to do. I am late to everything because I've got 17 things on my list of things to do. Right. I'm very sensitive. I'm very much a teacher. Like I said, I was a teacher for 12 years. So that's just kind of ingrained in me. So it comes in handy in this business, right? Because I'm essentially a teacher again. I would say my second trait is I'm probably a D type, which is weird because they're opposites of each other.
I'm under, my graph shows I'm high D and high I, which.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that tracks. I would say so for sure. Dan, what were you? Did you do yours? I know you've done these before.
I've done them before. It's the same with me too. High D, high I.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Did anybody else have any others? Like what, who had something different? Nikki, you were, what were you?
So when I took this one, it said I was a S/DC.
Donovan texted me. He's like, I'm all of them. Like he's everyone.
Yes. So you have a mixture of all 4. Generally, 1 or 2 are going to be stronger.
Not him. Well, no.
Can you think of a situation where your personality came into play, like with a client? where maybe you were butting heads, or maybe you guys were the same and nothing got done, or something like that. Where maybe if you had known this information before, maybe it might, like, it could have helped in some way.
Like I needed to turn my camera on for this one. I'm a chameleon, like I'm a mirror. So whatever my client is, that's what I am.
That's
So if
how
you
it-
want to be intense, we're going to be intense. If you need me to be kind, I'm going to be kind. If you need me to be quiet, I'm going to be quiet. That's just,
That's the goal. That's the goal
Yeah.
for all of us to get there. I'll stay 4 years in the business. I still get intimidated by the D and the C type personalities.
Yeah, the C's are hard for me.
Yes.
They're really hard for me.
Yep. They're the people who call me 50 million times and want to know every financial detail. If I do this, how much is it? If I do this, how much is it? If I do this, how much is it? So
I'm dealing with one now, and I think both the husband and wife are the same. They're both C, and it's every day. It's a text about something. And like, I can't even anticipate. Like sometimes it's just an update on something. And I'm like, all right, cool, thanks. I didn't really need to know that, but I appreciate I appreciate you updating me.
yeah. So
Awesome.
very
Well,
good.
thank you so much. This was
Absolutely.
great. I really appreciate having you on here. This was great information. And I feel like there's a lot of different personality tests, but I think this is the one that like Tony Robbins recommends, and a lot of different people recommend doing this one. So it's very interesting. I know Nikki did a whole class once on personality traits, and you guys use a different system though. What was
Mhm.
that? What was that one called? You just sent it to me.
So that was for my leadership class. That one was, I'll have to, everything disc, I think is what it was called.
Fun. Was it online?
Yeah, it took a long time to do. It was like a 45-minute test.
Oh, it's just a test? I thought you said it was a class.
Well, the test was for part of the class. So the leadership class, you had to take this at the very beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff was incredibly interesting to me as a teacher and now as a loan officer. Like, it's just,
Oh, for sure.
you transform who you are, not in a good way.
Well, and I think people's answers can vary because I'm a different personality at work than I am
Absolutely.
at home.
Absolutely. That's a
So,
great
you
point.
know,
That's a great
I'm
point.
way more laid back at home.
Mhm. Mhm. As a mother, as a spouse, as a
Mhm.
friend, it probably changes with your environment.
Yep, for sure. Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate you coming on. And then next, let's see. Next week, I'm not sure who we have on for next week. I don't have it at my calendar right now. So we will be back next week on Tuesday at 11 for our next Modern Agent Blueprint. If you guys, in our newsletter we send out, we'll make sure that we put in your contact for anyone who wants to get a hold of you. And no, Jason, he's coming back the week after that. So Travis will be back on the 28th, and he's going to be talking.
I think it's us next week.
Yeah, I think it's retirement stuff he's talking about next week. I could be wrong. Yeah, I think next week is Nikki and I. So we'll figure that one out and get you guys get that listing up for you guys. And if anyone has any questions or anything, reach out. Thank you so much, Robyn. We appreciate you. And thank you guys all for coming today.
Thank you.
All right. Bye,
Have a good
everyone.
one. Bye.